All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the concept of you versus you, because it is always going to be you versus you, right? It's never anything outside of you versus yourself, because again, the outside world is just merely a reflection of you, okay? So that's what we're going to be talking about this video. Before we get into that, if you are looking to coach with me, that is available to you guys. It's somewhere on my YouTube channel. It's on my TikTok as well. Links are available for you guys if that is something you want to do. So moving past that, right? This entire idea that it's always you versus you, right? We have to understand first. And I know a lot of people, myself included, used to think like this, okay? I used to see everything like it's you versus the world, right? I used to always feel that way. I used to always believe that the world was harsh and it was hard on you, right? But you have to understand, right? Once you understand the truth of everything, you understand that it was your decision to accept that the world is harsh. And so if you accept that, what are you going to get? You're going to get a harsh world, right? In the same right, you can just simply choose that the world is not harsh for you. And then guess what? The more you stick to the identity that chooses that, then your world, your life is much more relaxing, calm, not nearly as harsh, if harsh at all, okay? So just using that small example goes to show how everything just is really just about consistency. Are you consistent? Are you disciplined, right? That's really what this video is going to be about, right? So starting off with our first point, you can only have one identity. There can only ever be one king on the throne, okay? You can only have one, right? You can only ever be aware of one identity at a time. Now, this is so important because a lot of you switch between identities constantly, maybe multiple times throughout the day. But you have to you always have to be able to understand that you can only ever return to one, right? Which one are you going to return to every single time, right? You shouldn't be flip-flopping identities, flip-flopping beliefs, flip-flopping desires every day, constantly, every time things come up in a certain way. Maybe the 3D showing you something, circumstance comes up, mental circumstance comes up, whatever, you flip-flop identities. No, you have to be able to stay grounded in one identity, right? So keeping that in mind, what are you returning to, right? So the real question that you should be asking yourself is, what are you returning to when you're not thinking about your desire, right? When you're not thinking about whatever it is that you want in life, what are you returning to? Are you returning to a version of somebody that's still seeking that thing? Or are you the version of the person that already has that thing? Okay? So you guys got to keep that in mind. If you already have it, what is there to seek out? If you already have it, is there anything to chase? If you already have it, then what needs to be done? The answer is always going to be nothing, okay? There's nothing you have to do. Everything will be presented to you, right? Or you will naturally feel inspired to take whatever actions that lead to the unfolding of anything. But that depends on you, right? Nothing you have to force. It will just happen. And if you don't feel inspired to take any action, then you don't have to, right? Like I said, it'll happen naturally, and you're not going to really be expecting anything. You're just going to be doing, right? This is why I'm of the belief, well, because of who I am and how I live my life, I just let things be presented to me, and every action I take from that is perfect, right? I let things be presented to me, and some of you guys might need to do the same thing. Or a lot of you guys are reaching out to your SPs, doing all this crazy stuff for what? It's not getting you anywhere. It's not doing anything, right? Maybe more momentarily it works, maybe it doesn't. But what are you ultimately getting out of this? Because you guys are not returning to your end, right? You're returning to a middle point. You're trying to make things happen from the middle. The middle will figure itself out, all right? You don't got to work it out. You don't got to do anything about it. It will do its work on its own, right? So what are you returning to when you're not really thinking about your desire? Who are you being when you're not being the person that's constantly looking for your desire, right? So next, we're going to talk a little bit about self-concept and reality, right? How you see yourself, okay, how you view yourself is the same way that the world is going to view you, okay? This is how the universe reflects back to who you are. The universe is precise, right? It can only take your word for whatever you say. If you say you're one thing, it has to show you that thing in some way, shape, or form, okay? So the way you view yourself has to reflect who you are. The world cannot decide who you are, only you can. It only ever mirrors things that you've already accepted as your truth, right? if you say I have it, but then you act like you don't, or if you say you have it and then you end up complaining about your circumstances or are entertaining the idea of something unfavorable, right? Then you're not being that person. Because how can two things be true? Like these two things cannot be true at once. You cannot have what you desire and then entertain the opposite of that, right? You just can't. This is how you get hot and cold. This is how you get unfavorable circumstances, right? Because you keep entertaining two things at once. You have to only entertain one. The universe is precise. Don't leave it confused, okay? You have to pick one thing. You're not manifesting from words. You're being the identity. This identity comes from consistency, right? You affirm through an identity, not to create an identity, because you are already an identity the second you claim it. So when you affirm it, know that you are actually speaking the truth, that you have whatever it is that you're saying, because it is your identity that has that thing, right? So you have to understand that. It's not just your self-concept, but how you view the things in your life as well, your relationship to certain aspects of your life. For example, with love, you are claiming that you have, well, that you are love, that you have the best relationships in life, right? And I'm going to call some of you out because some of you guys do this, all right? Some of you guys participate in this random ass gender war that's going on in the internet. And then you'll say men are this way, women are this way, men are this way, women are this way. But oh my God, they did this, they did that. So you can't be dual-minded like this, right? If you are love and you only ever experience the best in love in life, then how can you entertain something that is the opposite of that? How can you still hold that belief, right? Be so for real with yourself. You have to be so precise with yourself. The way you view yourself and the way you view yourself in relation to other aspects of your life are what create your life, okay? If you are somebody who's trying to manifest money and you are saying you're wealthy, you're abundant, and you have always more than enough money, then are you going to go and check your bank balance expecting and hoping that the money, you'll have enough money to get through the day, right? Are you going to be like, oh my God, when am I going to get my next paycheck? No, because you already have it, right? You already have money. You're not worried about it. This isn't to say that, you're going to go out and do crazy shit, right? To make something happen. No, but you know that the universe has it taken care of, right? This moment right now, this 3D moment is perfect. So even if it doesn't look like you have the money or the person right now, it's a perfect moment. It looks like this specifically for a reason, right? Because it's unfolding to something greater. And if you already know your end and you know it's unfolding to something greater, then this current 3D moment, you can just see it as a perfect moment in the most neutral way and just let it be, right? Be present and move on, right? It's again what you're returning to. You might not have the money right now, but you know you're the identity that already has it, that has the abundance and the wealth. It's making its way to you. The person might not be in front of you right now, but you know that they will be because you are love. You are already in that relationship, right? You have to understand that. Self-concept is your reality, but it's also the way you view yourself in relation to certain things in your life, okay? And the real battle, right, the only thing that you're ever going to struggle with, right, the only thing that I only ever see complaints about is inconsistency. What do I mean by this? The problem is that you don't know what you want, right? You're flip-flopping. You are constantly changing things, right? You want one person, and then you feel something and a memory comes up. Okay, and now you're changing things. You're rearranging your desire again. Okay, you're flip-flopping a desire, right? Or maybe you keep returning to an older version of yourself, right? Maybe you are remembering a memory, remembering who you used to be, remembering how things used to be for you. So if you are doing that, you're not being consistent with an identity. You're remembering one identity and then instantly shifting to the older one because that's what feels familiar to you, okay? You don't change your desire based off what the 3D is showing you. You don't change your identity off what the 3D is showing you. You remain consistent to one thing, okay? Either you have something or you don't, all right? Either you are someone or you're not, okay? You have to remember that. You cannot switch up on yourself based on how you feel, based on a memory, based on a thought, based on an idea, based on an intrusive whatever, right? Your mind could have told you a million different things. It could feel real. It can feel heavy. But are you going to stand your fucking ground? Are you going to stand your ground? Because if you cannot do that, then even if that thing came into your life, you're not going to be the person who can keep it. And I'm saying that bluntly because it's true, right? If you can't stay consistent to something in your life, when you have that thing in your life and you're still not seeing yourself as the identity that has that thing, then what's going to happen? It cannot stay in your life, right? That's the harsh truth, guys. You have to be consistent. Inconsistency is the only problem you have, right? I'm not even to say you have a problem, but some of you guys need to address that. Inconsistency is there within your own identity, that it's something you have to pick, something you have to choose, right? Maybe you woke up in the morning. I'm going to use myself as an example. I had a bad dream this morning. My nervous system reacted to it. Did I let that change my identity? No, I didn't. Okay? Because as the dream was happening, I became aware of it. And even as I was dreaming, right, you're going to get to a point where you're so aware that it could be while you're asleep, you're going to become aware. I knew it wasn't real. I was automatically, as I was asleep, able to start affirming, right? Because at that point I became more conscious and aware. I woke up and realized what was going on, and I just let shit pass, right? The dream is just a dream. The memory is just a memory, right? The feeling is just a feeling. A thought is just a thought. They mean nothing until you give it a meaning. I saw this dream and I gave it no meaning. I knew it didn't mean anything. It was just a bad dream. It doesn't mean it's real. It's not a precursor to anything. Same thing with a thought or an intrusive visual. You can have an intrusive thought, intrusive visual. You can remember something from the past. It is not a precursor to anything unless you're identifying with it, unless you're saying it is. So what are you flip-flopping between? Who are you returning to? Again, what are you consistently showing up with? And this goes back to the next point it goes back to this, it's going to lead into the next point I'm making about the ego's game, right? Because what your ego is going to do, it's not going to fight you directly, right? It might, right? It's, in some cases it might, but what it's going to do is it's going to use your desire as a pawn. It's going to try to use it against you, right? Think of it like a chessboard. Your ego is using your own pieces against you. It's going to try to do that, right? So what is it going to do? It's going to send you thoughts. It's going to send you emotions, memories, feelings, anything in between, right? And again, these are just examples, but these things it's going to send you, but it's going to get you to try to identify with your old awareness. I made a video on this. It's pinned on my TikTok, but it's probably one of my favorite videos I made because it's just such a breakthrough in certain people's understanding, right? The ego's using your pawn. It's using your desire as a pawn. It's trying to use your desire against you to make you feel safe, right? Does that make sense? Let me explain. Because before that, you used to find safety in not having. You used to find safety in despair. You used to find safety in lack, right? This is why your identity is the way it is. This is why your 3D looks the way it is. Your body and your mind are so used to it, it finds safety in those things. So now that you're claiming the other end, now that you're claiming something that is the opposing of that, right? What's going to happen? Your mind is going to say, well, fuck no, right? You can't there's no way, right? Because it feels unsafe. It feels unsafe. So it's trying to draw you back. So it's going to send you all these things that you know you're going to react to try to get you to identify with that again. What do? You acknowledge it as it comes up. You notice it. You notice it for what it is. You notice that it is your ego just trying to get you to identify with something old. But then you have to make a decision, right? It is strategic. Your mind is very strategic with these things, but it is going to try to get a reaction out of you. But you have to make the decision to say this, I can feel this, I can see this, I hear this, whatever, but I know my truth instead. Actually, it's this way instead, right? I have this person instead. So you have to be so aware and conscious enough to be able to learn the pieces, not just complain about them all the time. Like, oh, but my thoughts are telling me this. Oh, it just gets hard because I'm feeling this. No, look, it's going to feel hard sometimes, right? It's going to feel, especially if you just don't know what you're doing, right? If you're just still constantly looking for something to validate you, it's going to be hard. But you have to learn to not identify with other shit outside of you. Stop relying on other people and other things to tell you what is true and what is not, and learn to stand your own ground. When your emotions and your thoughts and memories and feelings are coming up, you have the ability to say, no, I have this instead. You have to be stubborn. You have to be exact, and you have to be in your knowing about when you do these things, right? These are not bad things. These triggers are not necessarily bad things. They're just things that are coming up into your awareness that you need to make a decision on. And I tell people this all the time. If you've worked with me, you know this, right? Whenever you get triggers, they're not a bad thing. Don't see them like that, right? They come up because you need to make a decision on it. You're changing your identity. Your mind needs to know what to do with this shit. So what's it going to do? It's going to send it to you, right? But then you have to make a decision on it, right? So you have to understand ego's game. You have to understand why it's doing the things it's doing, okay? And in that same right, you have to be able to know what you're entertaining. And I know I've been sprinkling this in a little bit, but you have to be able to remain the same, right? And going to the next point, right? Leading to the next point of remaining the same, even good feelings can be a trap, okay? This is where a lot of people get confused. I remember I was like this too. Positive emotions, memories, good memories, right? Comforting thoughts. These are still your ego, right? This isn't to say it's a bad thing, but you have to be aware of it. You have to be aware that these are all still your ego. So again, kind of tying back into what you're identifying with, what you are actively choosing to entertain. You can entertain the good stuff. I'm not saying you don't, but you have to understand that you gotta remain the same. The same way you remain the same with good stuff, you have to remain the same with bad stuff, right? Because you're the only one that's giving that definition that this is good, this is bad. Remain the same. See things as neutral. See everything as just a circumstance. If something's good happening, sure, yeah, I mean, you can enjoy it, but you could also just see it as a circumstance. Know that this is just a circumstance, but my end stays the same way you would when there's bad stuff, right? It's not like you just have to play this game whenever bad shit's happening. No, you have to remain the same even with good stuff, right? So you have to understand these things. It's not because you just because you feel good things are working out. Things are still working out even if you don't feel good, right? It's just a matter of staying the same, staying your ground no matter what, right? Now, this is going to be an important one for all of you guys, everybody, right? Seeking outside versus standing within, okay? Are you looking outside of yourself for validation, proof, reassurance, or are you standing in your decision? Let me give you examples of this. Validation, right? Proof, reassurance. Are you waiting for somebody to say something to make you feel right? Are you going to go watch another video? Are you going to read another book? Are you going to scroll on your phone again, hoping that a TikTok comes up that will finally make sense to you, right? Are you seeking something outside of you to then immediately feel like you're enough, that you know enough about manifestation, that you know enough about identity to then play the game? Or are you going to stand in your truth, decide that you already know enough, right? Let the clarity come naturally, right? Or are you going to look for everything outside of you? Are you going to tell yourself that you're enough, that you have everything, that you're perfect, that you're amazing, that you are the prize? Or are you going to wait for something outside of you to tell you that? You have to be able to understand that, right? Are you looking for reassurance just because things feel a certain way? Are you watching videos on TikTok, on YouTube, just because you feel a certain way? Are you watching this video right now? Right now, are you watching this video because you're feeling a certain way, right? You have to be able to stand in your decisions. You have to be able to make a choice no matter what you're feeling anyway, right? That's how this works. You have to stand your ground. You have to be so serious about this, right? How badly do you want this? How badly do you want this new life? Because it's already yours, but you have to stand the ground. You have to stay in your moment, right? Where are you running to when your mind starts to fight? You have to be aware of these things, right? What is going to define the moment? A reaction, a spiral? Are you going to go back to an old identity? Or do you stand in the grounding knowing that this is who the hell I am and now everything is going to revolve around me. Everything is going to unfold to me. Okay? This is a harder truth, right? It's not something anybody really wants to hear, but I'm calling you out because you need to hear it, right? You can't rely on people or circumstances or having motivation to do anything in your life, because at the end of the day, this is your life. I can't live it for you. Some other coach can't live it for you. Nobody can make any decisions for you, right? Nobody can act for you except you. You're the only one that can do that. Only you can think for yourself. Only you can decide for yourself. Only you can be you, right? So just to kind of close off the video, how badly do you actually want this life? Because if you want it bad enough, you're going to put in the work and you're going to stand your ground for it. One of my coworkers says this a lot. She's also one of my really good friends, one of my best friends. And she says this a lot just to rage bait me. But if you wanted to, you would, right? But think about that. If you wanted this life, then you would. And again, don't take this in sense of action where you need to act in order to make something happen. right? Because that can also be a trap. Action will happen naturally. It will be presented to you, or you will feel inspired to do it. You don't have to force it, okay? But how badly do you want this, right? Because if you're not willing to stand your ground for it, then it will never come. If you are not going to stand your ground for it, then you will never see the fullness of what you are, right? If you keep folding every time your mind pushes back, then do you really want it? Can you really stand your ground on anything in this life if you can't even stand it for this? I don't want that to come off harsh. It did, I know. But you have to be serious with yourself. You have to really ask yourself how badly you want this. And if you do, what are you going to do to have it? Are you going to play this game knowing the rules, or are you going to hope and wait until somebody can finally explain it in a way that you understand, right? So you have to be able to use your discernment. You have to be able to play the game no matter what it feels like, all right? I know this video was a bit more harsh than usual, but I really want to make sure that things get through to you guys, right? I don't want you to have to rely on anything to get what you want. So learn to stand in your power. And it's a beautiful thing when you do, because nothing can really shake you. You can feel things. You can have emotions and thoughts and memories or anything, right? Like this morning I had a bad dream. But these things mean nothing to you because you can stand your ground, because you know inevitably what is yours. You're not looking for anything outside of you to validate that. So be able to stand your ground, guys. And that's all I got for you today. And hopefully you guys spend the rest of your day doing what you like to do. I'm going to have to go shovel some snow because the snowstorm was pretty bad in my area. So I'm going to have to do that. But I'll catch you guys later. And I'm assuming you guys will have a good day.